to share for later. I won't be sharing anything anyone else is saying. So, all right. So I would like to welcome you to make yourselves comfortable. You can get seated in a chair. I'm going to go ahead and move back to my chair now, or also make yourself comfortable on your yoga mat. And if you have a blanket or something, if you're sitting on the floor, it can be helpful to have a blanket to sit on. If you're sitting cross-legged, to kind of help raise the pelvis up just a little bit to give you a little bit more comfort during the practice. We're going to start out by just starting to bring the attention inward. I know we have a lot of things going on around us, lots of changes in routine, and there's been, some different losses for lots of various different people. But I'd like to invite you to just start to welcome in all the thoughts that are arising, welcome any emotions. Welcoming any tensions that might be present in the body. And you can just scan the body, starting at the top of the head, working down the neck and into the shoulders, the arms, the legs, all the way down to the soles of the feet. Starting to move down from the thinking mind and moving down into the sensations that are present in the body. As we start to move the body and bring awareness to those sensations, it can kind of start to bring that focus downward and start to quiet the mind a little. And to start out the practice, we're going to do a breathing practice called alternate nostril breathing. Some of you have done this with me before. And if you haven't, and it's something new, then just join along and enjoy the practice. So you can do this actually breathing through the right nostril and then breathing out the left nostril. But you can also do this just visualizing and sensing the sensations in the body. So if you'd like to actually breathe through the nostrils, you can place the second and third finger right between the eyebrows and use the thumb to plug the right nostril, and the fourth and fifth finger to plug the left nostril. And we'll start out with plugging the left nostril, and you'll breathe in through the right nostril, and you breathe in through the right nostril, noticing all the sensations on the right side of the body, from the feet up the legs to the right arm, right side of the face, the air coming in the right side, and then plugging both nostrils, letting the attention shift over to the left side of the body. And we'll release that left nostril, breathing out the left nostril as you sense the entire left side of the body, the left arm, left leg, left sole of the foot. And then we'll breathe in through the left nostril, sensing the left side of the body, the left leg, the left arm, left side of the face, and plugging both nostrils, retaining and shifting the attention over to the right side of the body, and we'll release the right nostril as you breathe out the right nostril, and sensing the right arm, the right leg, all the way down to the right foot. Breathing in, sensing the entire right side of the body as you breathe in the right side. Closing both nostrils, releasing the left side, and we'll breathe out the left nostril, sensing the entire left side of the body. Go ahead and continue on at the pace of your own breath. It's a practice that can be very soothing for the central nervous system. A good practice to do right before you go to bed in the evening or in the morning as you're waking up. We'll do 2 more rounds here. Breathing in, sensing one side of the body, letting the attention shift to the other side. Breathing out that side. Breathing in that side of the body, letting the attention shift over, breathing out that side. And as you finish up, you can just let the hands rest on the thighs. Letting go of any effort with the breath, just noticing the rate of the breath, the quality, the depth of the breath. And sensing the space with the inhalation, that space created in the body. With the exhalation, sensing that grounding sensation as though you're rooting into the ground. Inhale, you can picture yourself as a tree drawing in nourishment from the ground. Exhale, picturing those roots growing deeper and deeper into the ground. Inhale, drawing in nourishment, strength, whatever you need this evening. Exhale, exhaling into that strength, that resilience, that rooting. Now, if the eyes are closed, you can open the eyes. We're going to continue on with this idea of space. We were talking about space with the inhalation. Now we're going to create some space in the body. You're welcome to sit for this practice, or you can stand up too. If you've been running around all day and you just want to sit for the practice, but if you've been sitting at your desk all day and you feel like you would like to move a little bit more, maybe stand up. We're going to start out with just starting to open up the joints of the body. We'll start with some shoulder rolls, and you can do this with the breath. So inhale, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears and back and around and down. And as we go, we'll start to gradually increase the movement, bringing in the elbows, the wrists, and the hands, starting to open up and create some space in the upper body. And changing directions. I know there are a lot of people using Zoom right now, so you might get little screen delays and the like, but just go ahead with the practice. And releasing the arms, giving the arms and the shoulders a little bit of a shake. And now you can take the right thumb, connecting it with the right fingers, placing that under the crook of the right arm. And we'll start making some little circles with the elbow. And as you do this, like with the breathing practice, what we were doing, sensing that entire right side of the body, especially the upper body. Being aware of the sensations as you rotate the shoulders, all those connections into the upper neck and the jaw, the upper back, the chest. You can change directions as you gradually grow your circle. And then releasing that arm, you can shake it out. We'll switch over to the left side. So connecting the left thumb with the left fingers. Starting out making some little circles with the left elbow. Now sensing that left side of the body. And I'm mirroring you, so I'll be saying the opposite of what I'm actually doing here. Noticing all those connections up into the neck, into the jaw. And then changing directions. And now releasing that left arm, shaking that arm out. We'll do some movements of the neck now, and For these, you can press the tongue into the roof of the mouth, which kind of activates those muscles in the front of the neck. And start out just doing some gentle rotations of the neck. And you can open and close the jaw, inviting release in the jaw. And actually, we can do a full face stretch here. So you can open the eyes wide, open the mouth wide, stick the tongue out, and even do a little ah, and then releasing, and then going back into the next stretch. Feeling welcome to look as silly as you would like to in the moment. Now we do another face stretch here. So opening the mouth wide, sticking out the tongue, eyes wide, eyebrows raised, ah, and then releasing, rolling the neck gently. And now you can release the neck. We're going to bring in some movement of the hips. If you're standing, you can go ahead and do kind of like you have a hula hoop going, circling the hips. And if you're in the chair, do some creative movements, and you can actually rotate the upper body around the hips, inviting in some more opening here. And changing directions. All right, and you bring in a little bit of movement to the legs now. So if you're seated or if you're standing, we'll do some rotations. You can start with the right foot. And if you're seated, notice how as you rotate that right ankle, it brings in some rotation of the knees and into the hips. And standing, you can also get creative and do some knee circles individually with your knees. Seated, it's a little easier just to do it with the ankle and then get the residual effect all the way up the leg. You can change directions. And then we'll switch sides. Now rotating that opposite side, knee and ankle. And as we do this, really sensing into that side that you're rotating. Notice all those connections all the way up the back of the leg into the lower back. As we do this, we're actually starting to bring a little bit of release even into the hips and the back too. And then you can release, and you can kind of shake out the legs and notice any tightnesses that are still there. We're going to work on it a little bit more, but you can kind of shake the legs back and forth and bring in a little rotation to the hips. All right. Now, whether you're standing or you're in the chair, we'll go ahead and inhale our arms up overhead, and then grasping, you'll grasp one of your wrists, and then go ahead and leaning over to your right. So if you're leaning to the right, you'll be grasping your left wrist with your right hand. And then coming back up to center, we'll go ahead and grasp the other wrist and stretching over to our left. And then coming back up to center, expanding the chest wide, lifting the gaze up overhead, gentle back bend as you gaze up and behind you. And exhale, bringing the hands down towards your chest, towards the heart center. And then coming forward into a forward fold. You can do this standing folding forward or from the chair. And if you're standing, going ahead and just kind of walking out the hips and the legs. You can do the same thing from the chair too. And then completely releasing like a rag doll. You can grab opposite elbows with your hands and just completely releasing the upper body here. And inhale, pressing the fingertips into the mat, coming up to a flat back, or if you're standing, pressing the fingertips into the shins as you come up to that flat back position. And then we'll exhale, releasing completely again into that ragdoll. And if you're standing, you can just sway the body back and forth. Inhale, pressing the fingertips into the ground or into the shins, coming up to a flat back. Exhale, releasing again, and then we'll slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra into the chair or into a standing position. And inhale, bringing the arms out and up overhead. And this idea of drawing in whatever you need in this moment and bringing it down towards the heart. Exhale. And then you can release the arms down. We'll do a little spinal twist here. So if you're standing, you can just start to rotate the body back and forth, bringing in some rotation into the spine. If you're seated, you can exhale, twisting over to your left side, inhaling back to center, exhale, twisting to the left. Some gentle rotation here, being gentle with the body today. Everything that I'm offering is a suggestion, but do what works for you. And coming back to center. Now, if you're standing and you have a yoga mat, I'd invite you to make your way down to the ground now, to your hands and your knees. We're going to do cat-cow. You can do this from the chair too. So I'll show the chair first since that's where I'm at. So if you're in the chair with the hands on the knees, you'll inhale as you expand the chest and lift the gaze upward. And then as you exhale, arching the back as you draw the hands down towards the shin, the curve of the back going towards the chair. You'll inhale back up to seated, kind of puffing the chest, expanding the chest, getting the gaze upward, and then exhale, curling forward. If you're on the mat, you'll be on the hands and knees, and as you inhale, dropping the belly towards the ground, lifting the gaze upward, and exhale, arching the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, dropping the belly towards the ground, gaze lifts upward, and then exhale, dropping the head, arching the spine up towards the ceiling. And we'll do another little flow here with your breath. I'll do the mat first since that's where I'm at. So if you're on the mat, as you inhale, shifting the weight forwards towards cobra, and as you exhale, pressing into the mat with the hands, getting that traction, dropping the elbows to the ground, and then bringing the seat back towards the heels. And then you'll inhale, shifting the body weight back forward, coming towards cobra, and exhale, dropping the elbows to the mat, and then the seat coming back towards the heels. And if you're in the chair, we'll do something similar, except as you inhale, extending the spine long and looking upward, and then as we exhale, curling the body over the lower body and bringing the chin in towards the chest, getting a stretch in the back side of the body. Inhale, bringing the head up, lengthening the spine, and exhale, curling in around the lower body. And as you're finishing up here, if you're on the mat, you can come to your knees. If you're in the chair, you can start to roll back up to a seated position. And we're going to do another breath flow here. And I'm going to show it in the chair to start out with. So if you're in the chair, you'll inhale, sweeping the arms up high overhead. And as you exhale, bending forward and letting the back of the hands come to the lower back or the sacrum as you come forward. And you'll inhale, arms sweeping up overhead. And exhale, bending forward, back of the hands to the sacrum. And if you're on the ground, you'll inhale, coming to a high kneeling position as you sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, bending forward, the forehead coming to the mat, back of the hands to the back, lower back. Inhale, arms up overhead.
You sure about
that? Exhale, forehead coming to the ground. Inhale. Exhale.
Okay, I'll give you a call in the morning tomorrow. Thanks, appreciate it. Bye.
And then if you're on the ground, you can just drop the forehead to the mat, letting the arms rest in front of you or behind you, whatever feels better right now. And if you're in the chair, you can find a similar child's posture, letting the body drape over the lower body. You can bring the forehead, if you're in the chair, bring the forehead to the knees. Get that contact of the forehead with the ground. And just taking a few deep, long breaths here as you inhale, sensing that expansion, expanding into the back body, and sensing the release of the exhalation. And then slowly pushing your way up to a seated position. If you're on the mat, you can go ahead and make your way to your back. If you're in the chair, we're going to be doing our floor series from the chair. So if you're on the mat, we'll just be lying with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. If you're on the chair, we'll just make the feet so that they're about hip width apart right now. So whether you're in the chair or on the mat, we're going to exhale, dropping both of the knees to our right side. This could be lying on the ground with the arms out to give you a sense of stability. And inhale the knees back to center, and we're going to windshield wiper the knees over to the left side. Inhaling the knees back to center, exhale, right side. And bringing both of the knees back towards center, whether you're sitting or lying on the ground. Now we're going to drop just one, so you can start out dropping just the right knee out towards your right as an inhalation, and exhaling it back to center. And then inhale, dropping the left knee out towards your side. Exhale, bringing it back towards center. Just gently moving back and forth as you drop one knee out, bringing some rotation into the hips here. Sensing what that might be doing to the lower back, the muscles there. And now bringing both knees back to center. If you're lying on the mat, then you can go ahead and pull the right knee in towards your chest. If you're in the chair, you can also pull the right knee up towards your chest, or if you're in the chair, you can just bend forward so that the right stomach comes down to the knee and gets that connection there. So you're on the floor, it'll just be like this. And if you're on the floor, you can bend that left leg to relieve a little bit of the pressure on your back. And then if you're on the floor, extending that right leg long up towards the ceiling. If you're in the chair, then you can extend it out long on the ground. And then rotating that right ankle. So you're either in the chair doing this, or you're lying on the ground with the foot up in the air, and you're just rotating, and you can flex and point the toes, so sensing all those connections all the way up the back of the leg and into the lower back. And then if you're lying on the ground, you can reach for that right big toe and extend that foot up towards the ceiling. And then just gently letting that leg go out towards your right. So if you're lying on the ground, you can bend the other leg and then just gently exploring with the range of motion, dropping that right leg out towards your right. And you can stretch the left leg out to give you a sense of stability here. And if you're in the chair, then you can extend that right leg out long and bending forward with it straight out in front of you. Exhale, coming back to seated, sliding it out towards your right, and then inhaling and exhaling forward here. Inhale, coming back up, sliding the foot back in towards center, and exhale, bending forward. Inhaling back up, sliding the foot out, exhale. And bringing that leg back in. And now everyone's going to place that right heel onto the left knee, whether you're lying on the ground or you're in the chair, and just letting that right knee drop out, getting a nice hip stretch here. So this could be lying on the ground or in the chair. As you exhale, just kind of focusing the breath into that right hip, noticing any tension that might be present there. And if you're lying on the ground, you can wrap your legs around the back of that left thigh and pull it in to deepen the stretch a little. And then next, we're going to go into a gentle spine twist. So if you're in the chair, this is just going to be a gentle twist in your chair. So you'll inhale, finding length in the spine, and exhale, gently twisting towards that bent leg. And you can inhale back towards center and exhale back into the twist. You can also explore the twist in the other direction. Floor. Then you're going to go ahead and straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. Shifting your hips over to your right and gently twisting the body towards your left side. And keeping both of the shoulder blades on the ground. This is just a gentle twist, and you can spread the arms out wide to give you a little bit of a sense of stability here. If you're lying on the ground, keeping plenty of space between the lower rib cage and the pelvis. If you're in the chair, you can Just kind of exploring where you can go with this twist. And then we'll all come back towards center. So if you're lying on the ground, you can roll back onto your back. And then you can stretch your legs out long if you're on the ground. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the other side. So now we're pulling the left knee in towards the chest. If you're lying on the ground, it'll be definitely pulling it in towards your chest. If you're in the chair, you can pull it in towards the chest, or you can straighten that opposite leg and then just bend forward towards the bent left knee. Getting that little compression there kind of helps stimulate the digestive system. And then if you're lying on the ground, you can go ahead and extend that left foot up towards the ceiling as you extend that leg long. If you're seated in the chair, you can go ahead and stretch it out long in front of you. And then we'll go ahead and rotate that left ankle. And changing directions. And if you're lying on the floor, you can reach for that left big toe, extending that foot upward, keeping plenty of bend, keeping plenty of bend in that leg though. And then gently, you'll just explore with letting that leg drop out towards your left side and back towards center, out to the side and back towards center. And if you're sitting in the chair, we'll do something similar here. So you have that left leg extended. You'll inhale, finding length in the spine. Exhale, gently bending forward. Inhaling back up, sliding the leg out towards your left. Exhale, bending forward, folding again. Inhaling back up, sliding the foot back towards center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. All right, now we'll all bring that left knee to, or sorry, that left heel of the foot to our right knee. And letting that left knee fall out to the side, getting a stretch in that left hip. And as you exhale, again, focusing that breath into the hip. Feeling that release of the breath going into the hip. And now if you're seated, you can do a gentle twist from a seated position as you inhale, finding length in the spine, and exhale, gently twisting out towards that line on the ground. And go ahead and extend that right leg out long, shifting your hips over to the left and gently rolling towards your right side. And you can use this hand as kind of a pivot to hold up that knee. And as you're ready, gently rolling back onto your back. And if you're lying on the ground, you can Or a happy baby. So grabbing the outside of both feet or both of your big toes and extending both legs or both feet up towards the ceiling. And you can gently roll back and forth. If you're in the seat, you can spread the legs wide and then just gently letting the body fold forward, head going towards the ground. You can gently rock back and forth here also. And if you're seated, I will gently roll up vertebra by vertebra. If you're lying on the ground, you can pull the knees in towards your chest and gently rolling back and forth. You can give both knees a hug and rolling back and forth to massage the lower back and the hips. And we're going to go ahead and find a comfortable position now for our guided meditation for this last 5 minutes or so. So if you're sitting, you can scoot back in your chair and settle in. If you're lying on the ground, you can find something to put behind your knees or maybe a pillow for behind your head. Or if you have a blanket, you can wrap up in that right now. I'd like to invite you to close the eyes, opening up to the sensations of sound. Noticing the sound of your breath, the sounds in the room around you, the sound of my voice. Just welcoming in sensation of sound. And sensing the face as you release the upper jaw and the lower jaw. And sensing the eyes, the forehead, releasing the temples and the forehead. And sensing the top of the head, the back of the head. And sensing the upper back, mid back, lower back. And sensing the pelvis and the hips. And sensing the left leg and left foot. Sensing the right leg and right foot. And sensing all the areas where the body comes in contact with and is supported by the ground or by the chair. Sensing the body as held and supported. And now sensing the rise and fall of the chest and the belly with the breath. And sensing the space of the inhalation and the release of the exhalation. And now bringing the attention to the area of the heart. And noticing what's present at the heart today. Perhaps sensing the heart beating in the chest. And now bringing to mind something that you might be grateful for today. Through this difficult time that we're all going through, what opportunity may have arisen? What opportunity, what relationship, what opportunity for strength? Maybe the idea of an act of kindness that you've offered to someone else or that's been offered to you. Just something that you might have observed. What does gratitude feel like at the heart? And just breathing into that. Sensing it in every cell of the body. Now you can bring some gentle movement to the fingers and to the toes, sensing the boundaries of the body. And if you're lying down, you can start to push yourself up to a seated position. You can begin to bring in some light to the eyes, bringing in the sensation of color and shapes in the room around you. And as you're ready, arriving fully present in this moment, just as it is.